Hello and welcome to another edition of Gambler Anonymous, episode number 23 of 2016-2017. This week, tip of the iceberg. I recently found an interesting betting blog, daily25.com, and a debate between the site owner and a tipster who was being questioned about the confidence they were implying with their own tips. I immediately connected with it as I thought it was similar to what I had done in the past, especially when on the inevitable losing run. It made the site owner, Steve, question the confidence in the service that was being offered, and I thought he had a very valid point and one that I hadn't even considered before reading the back and forth between the two on his website. This is a link to the article if you are interested. daily25.com/SkevePicksReply/ I guess what I took from the debate was that even though I don't charge, as I don't think I realistically can for my tips, I should still believe in them a little more, as if I don't then it automatically instills a lack of confidence in them for people who are following them. Steve has some fantastic articles on his website, daily25.com, and I would highly recommend following him. He posts no tips himself that I am aware of and is not a tipster, but he has a vast knowledge of the industry and some valuable connections within it. I believe his Twitter handle is @day25, so go check his work out. It is informative and encouraging for anyone wanting to make a little money from betting. And I don't intend this in a derogatory way, but he is simple. By that I mean he makes it clear and easy to understand, which is a highly underrated skill, especially in a minefield like gambling. Reading the article got me thinking, is following a tipping service or tipster worth it? God's move. It is time consuming. You're not always guaranteed to get on, and when you don't, the tips often seem to win. When you do get on them, they often seem to lose. That's why I don't charge for my tips. I don't think realistically I ever could. If people are charging for tips, then do your due diligence first and work out if it is worth it for you. Also, in-play tips are not for everyone, especially the way I do it with little prior notice before a tip is posted. I guess the best, and possibly only way of following my tips, would be whenever you can and whenever you feel comfortable with them. Maybe include them as an addition to a betting arsenal or just place them when you can. There are pros and cons for any tipping service, but having a free one is a pretty decent start. Plus, with the tips I post on Twitter, you are likely to get better value than I do, as the odds tend to drift further after I post them, so you should theoretically get better value than even I do. The flip side is that because the tips are in play, sometimes it will not be possible to get on them as a goal is scored, a player is sent off, or a star player is injured too soon after my tip is posted, and you won't get on it at the odds I do. This is tough to deal with, but it happens a lot with me, and I don't end up posting a lot of tips as of the aforementioned reason, as the odds have often long gone. I would advise to try and get on my tips when you can, and having Twitter mobile alerts enabled is imperative. Mobile betting would be the best way to follow my tips, but don't get distracted by them while driving or operating heavy machinery. There will always be another tip. The most important thing to consider when following a tipping service is, does it fit in with your lifestyle? When receiving pre-event tips, if you are in a different time zone when the tips go out, you are probably losing value if you can't get on them right away, as others have driven down the price, maybe before you have even gotten out of bed. Are you comfortable with the bankroll and tips being offered? Are the returns making you money after the service fee? If you are paying one, are you comfortable with the market you are betting in? Is the service actually worth the time and or money spent on it, or is it just sinking your money? The point is not to just pick a service because you are desperate to make a little more money, but to look a little deeper and do a little more research to what fits you. In my opinion, you should never pay for a tipping service, as it rarely works out long term, as eventually the amount of subscribers waters down the odds and opportunity of obtaining those odds, even if they stop accepting new subscribers. Also, the fee charged usually eats away any winnings, and you end up losing even more anyway. Steve seems to make paid subscriptions work though, so I guess he has a slightly different betting model than me that works for him. So fair play to him for that. I would also recommend ESPN FC and Guardian football writer Michael Cox, who has in-depth tactical analysis of many of the big football games that give valuable insight into team setups, which can be invaluable when reading games and finding the next winner. Anyway, back to the football. And Hull City with no manager. Only 13 fit senior players that faced Leicester, and fans unhappy with the way the club is being run but somehow still beat the champions. Is it going to be another one of those unpredictable seasons? Probably not. Hull will likely struggle this season and will probably go down unless other teams are in a worse situation than they are at this stage of the season. It is such a bad precedent to have no setup going into a new season, and it will likely cost them dearly with relegation along with Crystal Palace unless they can eventually sign Benteke or a similar striker. Sunderland must also be worried. With Jermaine Defoe their only real out-and-out proven striker, they could struggle for goals this season. Without him for any prolonged period of time they could face the drop. Man United look good in the early stages of the season. Very good in fact, and also have strength in depth. They looked good against Bournemouth, but Bailey, although has raw talent, showed his inexperience in the Community Shield that I feel may be exploited against tougher opposition. Pogba I feel is a good acquisition, and although a lot of money, he is still only 23 years old and a lot of money can be recouped from marketing him. He should start his first competitive game against Southampton on Friday, and it will be very interesting to see how he fits into the Mourinho methodology. It is also good to see Luke Shaw back and starting to play well again, and he should be a dangerous attacking dynamic spreading down United's left this season. Leicester surely cannot win the league again this year, but then again, that's what everyone said last year, including me. It was a poor start from them against Hull, but Vardy can't misfire like the way he did against Hull all season. And it will be an interesting game when the champions take on Arsenal this Saturday. Kick off at 17:30. Chelsea seem better than last season, but that's not saying too much. I think they may struggle this season with Conte trying to apply his own style of football to Stamford Bridge, which appears to be without Cesc Fabregas. Man City may be in a similar boat as Chelsea, as they are a team in transition, and with Joe Hart being dropped and Julio Tour being left out of Guardiola's plans so far, it looks like a steep learning curve has to be overcome at the Etihad to accommodate the Pep way of play. A lot has been said about Arsenal's lack of transfer activity and that the Premier League is passing Arsene Wenger by, and the same questions remain for Arsenal. Can they remain injury-free and develop a leader and winning mentality? I think that answer is no, and Arsenal need a Patrick Vieira to win trophies in this era of football. They haven't had a leader on the pitch for so long, and it shows when they are up against it in tough matches. Tottenham is in a similar situation to Arsenal, and that was no more evident than last year when they had the best chance of winning a league title that they are ever likely to get for some time. They've somewhat choked, and now I feel the big boys have left them behind, rebuilt and are set up for domination once again. So things are back to normal, whatever normal is nowadays. £89 million for a footballer apparently. If things are back to normal though, then that is better for the better, as more predictability means more profit. Well, theoretically anyway. I think it would be wise to stay away from too many big games this season. Arsenal losing 3-4 to Liverpool being case in point. Good entertainment, poor investment. I have heard nothing about Pinnacle's long-awaited UK return, even though I have tried contacting them on several occasions. Though I completely understand that contact through Twitter is a highly unreliable form of communicating with a company. Even though I've had really good response from them in this way in the past, I'll keep trying and relay any information. Providing the in-play activity is decent, I will probably switch the majority of my tips to Pinnacle when they rejoin the UK market, as they are by far and away the best bookmaker out there and don't ban successful players. BetDAQ is also a fantastic betting platform, with only 2% commission charged on winning bets, and to my knowledge also don't ban successful players, but they have recently been taken over by Ladbrokes, so I hope no traditional bookmaker mentality is applied to a successful betting exchange model. I have prominently used Betfair for the vast majority of my tips up until now, as of having little other option, but they aren't as big of a bad wolf as everyone is making them out to be. They do have the best platform, highest liquidity, and probably the best in-play setup, but they do charge a lot more commission than BetDAQ, and they do ban successful players, but you can still use their platform until you no longer deem it worthwhile to do so. Betfair are also linked with the traditional bookmakers, having acquired Blue Square customers when they folded, and are now also joined with Paddy Power. There are plenty of other good competition out there now, so long as they don't all start to work with each other and regress the industry for the sake of their profit. Sadly, I can see that happening, but think that Pinnacle will stay strong, and as long as they are in the UK I don't have any major concerns. I have made a few changes to the vlog posts and have begun adding the profit and loss statistics to every post I have posted, which I should have done from the start but got a bit sidetracked with other areas of the site. That is a work in progress, but any additional posts should include this update from now on. On to this post's profit and loss statistics now, and I made an incredible 551% ROI from my Zenit tip on Saturday at odds of 6.80, and then a day later a very respectable 256% ROI from tipping Copenhagen at odds of 3.70. That is an incredulous 403% return on investment over the weekend from only 2 tips. Alright. That may be an egotistic statistic there with my description, but as good as these results were, I was still a little disappointed as I had other fixtures picked out that I didn't tip because I was being overly cautious. I think I prefer to be more on the cautious side though, as you can get caught up just betting anything and everything and eventually it comes back to bite you. I could have had more profit this week with Shakhtar Donetsk, Dynamo Kiev, Porto, PSG, Barcelona, Man City and Chelsea, but also could have lost with Leicester and Ajax. So I guess I'm being more conservative, which I think is a beneficial approach to my style of betting. There were some very decent odds available in those missed selections though, ranging from between 2.50 and up to 8.00 and above, so more should probably have been made last week. Providing I keep on track though and not get involved when I know I shouldn't, then I think this could be a really profitable season for me. In fact, I would already be in profit if I hadn't got involved with some preseason games. I think I have turned a corner and not getting involved when I clearly shouldn't, and I am confident that I will carry this on now throughout the season. As ever, be sure to follow on Twitter at Gaminimus for all the latest in-play tips and updates, and activate mobile alerts to receive them via your mobile to never miss a tip. Please like the Gambler Anonymous Facebook page and +1 the Gambler Anonymous Google Plus page to make sure you never miss a post and receive the latest advice. Hit the subscribe button here to help support the Gambler Anonymous YouTube channel. That lets me know that you're interested in the content so that I will keep posting. Also feel free to leave a comment and remember to hit that like button. And be sure to sign up on the Gambler Anonymous website for extra content, updates and notifications of the latest upcoming posts and tips. As always, gamble responsibly, as to not, is to lose. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.
Invest in the game.